What about pre-approvals? Can you get pre-approved for a loan to buy a business?
I'm David C. Barnett, and you're tuned in to Small Business and Deal Making, the podcast, YouTube channel, and blog where I talk about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses while controlling risk. So if you're looking to take control of your future through buying a business one day, or if you already own a business and you're looking to grow or exit, you've come to the right place. I talk about interesting things, I talk to interesting people, and I answer your questions every week right here. So be sure to hit like and be sure to hit subscribe, and let's get to it.
Hey everyone, today we have a question from YouTube user Behind the Last, who was watching my live stream interview with Lisa Forrest from Live Oak Bank. She was talking about all about SBA loans in the United States, and Behind the Last left a question. Let me read the question. Is it possible to be pre-approved for an SBA loan of a specific monetary amount, i.e. 300 to 500,000, rather than doing all this during the due diligence period? I want to be pre-approved for a certain amount of money before I even try to buy anything. It saves time. So that interview was about SBA loans, which are in the United States only, but I can categorically answer this question for anyone anywhere in the world. You cannot be pre-approved for a business acquisition loan, period. Okay. Next question. Okay. So let me tell you what you can do and why. Okay. Why can't you be pre-approved for a business acquisition loan? You can get pre-approved for a mortgage, right? Well, let's think about a mortgage. Who pays the mortgage? It's you, right? So when a bank looks at you, they look at your personal situation, they look at your personal income, your credit score, your length of time you've had your job, and what your income is. And that is the underwriting process. They look at you and your likelihood of continuing to have an income that could service a debt. And they're able to say, yeah, you can buy a house because your job is going to make these payments. When we talk about business acquisition financing, who makes the payments? It's the business you're buying, right? So if we don't have an actual deal at hand and a business to look at, then we can't make any kind of predetermination about whether or not you can repay the loan. We have to know what the business is, right? So what then can you do? Well, regardless of how good the business is, there are a few things that will prevent you from ever being able to get a business loan. So in an effort to prepare yourself to make that application, there are certain things that you should do. Number one, if you have a crappy credit score, forget it. They're not going to lend you money, because any business lender anywhere in the world is going to look at your personal finances and they're going to say, this is a good indicator of how you're going to manage the money in a business, how you manage your personal funds. So if your credit score is a mess because you don't make your payments on time and you've run up all your credit cards and et cetera, then they're not going to lend you money. Housekeeping of things, like if you haven't filed tax returns in 2 years, forget it. They're going to want current tax returns that you filed to show that you are able to keep yourself organized and meet your basic commitments, like filing your tax returns, right? So your house, when you go for a business loan, it is assumed that everything that you have personally, financially is impeccable. And then they're going to look at the business that you're going to buy, and they're going to see if it cash flows, etc. But does it really matter? Because even though we spend a lot of time talking about how you're going to get a business loan or if a business loan will cash flow to make an acquisition, listen very carefully. The vast majority of small and medium-sized businesses are purchased without the use of business financing. Mind-blowing, right? It's why I spent all summer making a series of video called Summer of Alternative Financing, and we created a playlist, and we'll link that floating around up here or in the notes maybe, for how to do deals without business financing. Because here's what many of my clients have done when they've gone out shopping for a business is they've prepared all kinds of other credit facilities that don't rely on the business. So what kinds of things am I talking about? Well, things like a line of credit or a home equity line of credit, or asking all your credit card lenders for an increase in your credit limit on your credit cards. Like, you can do all kinds of things that will make a larger amount of credit available to you personally And then when you make an offer on a business, you're going to go through the process of trying to get a business bank loan. But if you can't, you know that you have this plan B. There's another option of using these personal credit facilities at your disposal to do the deal anyway. And sometimes you could take advantage of some of the things I talked about in that Summer of Alternative Financing series. So you buy the business with personal credit, and then you go and you sell assets, buy new ones with financing, generate cash, use that to pay off some of your debt, etc. Right? So what kind of person is able to do that? Well, it's not a broke person, which I keep harping on, right? So in my years as a business broker, the vast majority of deals I did had no business financing at all. It was the buyer using their own money, savings, or their own credit facilities, borrowing against the house, borrowing against, other things, borrowing unsecured personal stuff, or using equity in things like whole life insurance plans, etc. And they put that money together, and then they get a seller note to finance the other part, and that's how the deal is done, right? So get yourself in an impeccable personal financial status so that there's no reason the bank can point at you. There's also going to be other kinds of considerations when doing a business loan, such as your experience and all that kind of stuff. So if you've got problems with your credit and you have unfiled tax returns and you have no experience in the industry and you still want to do a deal, then you're going to have to find other ways to get the money anyway, to at least create a down payment such that the seller will be willing to finance the balance. Anyway, if you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, head over to businessbuyeradvantage.com, sign up for my program. Like, people have been doing it for years. Hundreds and hundreds of people have gone through it. And I keep adding more material to it. Since 2019, I've been adding modules to it. And once you're in, you have lifetime access to the new materials as well. It's got a money back guarantee that I think I've fulfilled now 6 or 7 times, in years. So I know the value is there. And if this is something you're serious about buying a business, go sign up and learn how to do it. And if you are broke and you found me because you're poking around the internet and you've been seduced by all these people that talk about how to buy a business with no money and that kind of thing, buying a business is not a solution to save you from a desperate financial position. Buying a business is a career and life leveling up move. You've got to take care of the foundation before you start building the house. And so getting your credit in line, getting some money in the bank, paying off, credit cards and high interest debt and all that kind of stuff needs to be a priority. If this is something you want to do, take care of all your personal stuff first, build yourself up, and then get ready to make this move from a position of strength, not from a position of desperation where 101 little stars have to line up perfectly in order for you to make a successful maneuver, because rarely does that ever happen. Love you very much. I'm working hard here to help you avoid bad deals. And with that, talk to you later. Cheers. So, how can you learn more about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses? Easy. Head over to my blog site, davidcbarnett.com, where you can learn more about me and how I work with my clients. You can learn more about my books and the online courses that I've prepared for you. You can find out about how to subscribe to my email list, the YouTube playlists, etc. There's literally hundreds of hours of content there, all for free, and I'd love for you to be my guest. Special thanks go out to Jeff Alpaugh Customs for being my tailor. Men all around the world can look dangerous just like me with the help of Jeff Alpaugh Customs. JeffAlpaugh.com. Use the code DCB10 to save. They handle multiple currencies and ship anywhere you happen to be.